A certain local legend has it that this intersection, which I've showed you before, the intersection of Hopi and Navajo boulevards, was the only 90-degree turn in Route 66. Careful readers will know that Route 66 took many different configurations, some of which bypassed this intersection completely. But I'm here now, not because it has anything to do with Route 66, but because it is also a 90-degree turn in US 180. The only road you need to get from this little Sandrockian burg down to the Cienega of San Vicente, the place where the promised land is. 8 years ago, almost exactly, I was making this drive to go down to the Southwest Festival of the Written Word down in Silver. It was my first time to go in 2015. I understand that there was one before that in 2013, and since then it's happened every 2 years, and I've been to every one. This time is going to be a little bit different. This time I'm basically going to be at the festival in a very marginal and token sort of way. It kicked off yesterday with sessions last night. Obviously I wasn't there. The next sessions are at 10 a.m. It is now, I don't know, 6 something. And I'm probably going to be late or miss completely the first Saturday session. But I will be there. The Sunday sessions I'm going to miss completely due to a prior commitment. And anyway, that's the lay of the land.
Turn left on US 180. Continue on US 180.
So I'm not sure how well this is going to work out to drive and talk, but there's a little bit more to a lay of the land. First of all, this is not going to be a travelogue. It's going to be more of a crude van life video. The van being the aforementioned 2004 E350, very much half-built and jury-rigged. It's the only one with a easily available bed, a bed that I could pull over and flop down in and sleep and call it done. In addition to my usual traveling bags for clothes and a camera bag and a computer bag, I have 2 more or less complete systems on board. At the heart of both those systems is a big old battery bank that I got a good deal on quite a while back. $1,100, I think it was, but it's very capable. It can be recharged with solar energy and regular 120 current and 12 volt. The reason I need electricity plays into those two systems. The first system is the Starlink. Because of the battery bank, I have a way to power it. The other piece of that is a very rudimentary kitchen, basically just a way to make coffee. And of course, the induction burner that I have with me also needs to be electrically powered. I hope to have the opportunity to test out both those systems, both those very basic and essential systems. The bed, the internet connection, and the coffee making kit. 8 years ago, when I first attended the Written Word Festival in Silver, 2015, my life was very different. I was just barely a member of the professional and managerial class. I was a community college professor with an alleged expertise in computer information systems. That all blew up in a spectacular fashion, like a malformed space shuttle. And I have leftovers from those days, little scraps of what was a pension. I have this van. I have the house, or at least the mortgage that we just left behind. And I was set up. Let me tell you, cadets, I'm not set up anymore. The next few months are going to be about an effort to change that. And this trip is a crude stab at getting a start on that. Hoping to get down there in time for some fragment of the first 10 o'clock session. The goal is to live in the moment, in the real world, in some vaguely rewilded sense. Let the day begin. Tin can. $3.50 for a 24-ounce drip. So my first choice was just to call it Anarchy Coffee. Hang on a sec. California.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You too.
Unfortunately, what I mean by the word anarchy is something of a lost cause. The word basically means nothing these days, or it means something much more chaotic, even violent from the way I intend it. There's a couple other words out there that might kind of serve the same purpose, but I actually thought of something that's even shorter and tighter that isn't overused. Already home to the bees. Already home to my tree. The view. And by the way, there is a nice tiny little double wide. It's already been done. That little thing was a wreck when they dragged it in there. The young Hispanic owner did a ton of work on it. We met him a while back. The whole point is to get out from under rents and mortgages. Almost enough being here in the moment. I'm going to turn this off and do just a little bit more of that.
Big mushroom. It's called the kingdom of ignorance, that's for sure. Aurelia bulbosa, a common mushroom, can grow larger than a blue whale. One was found in Minnesota, whose cytoplasm spans 37 acres underground. It weighs 1,500 tons and is as many years old. No other mushroom dares to grow in this realm. Let us toast to invisible spores extending the kingdom of fungi. And across the savannah, in sounds too low for human ears, elephants signal each other where to find water, to warn about poachers, to summon the others to where they've fallen. Oh, the boulder aflame with migrating monarch butterflies. The salmon's return, the scent of its spawning, the data dance of bumblebees, the vastness of Aurelia bulbosa. We could trek to Minnesota to honor this mushroom monarch, then on to the boundless domain of Siberian tundra, claimed by a single slime mold. Here's to fungal rains, unmapped and unexplained. Praise be to mold how the food could record, to sticky feet and itchy crotch, and to the universe of sense of which a common dog is a scholar. Here's to the solemn procession of elephants and your ignorance of all.
Hi there, can I get a 20-ounce drip with a little milk? Light.
This one is from a less happy realm.
I don't know who this poet is, or I would tell you. If I find out, I'll put it in the notes.
And
So here's my story in a nutshell. I slept 6 hours. I got up at 3 in the morning. I spent 3 hours and a half packing comprehensively because of all that additional internet and beginner kitchen infrastructure. I drove a few hundred miles, and by the time I got to town, the morning sessions were just about over. In other words, I basically got to town during the lunch break in the Saturday portion of the festival. I went and paid my bill for the P.O. box here in Silver for another year, which I may count as the first business expense for this new venture that I'm getting ready to commence upon. And then I went to Fidencio's, got myself 2 of those burritos, ate one, drove up to the land, got gas, ran all the errands, and then came back and sat at the Tranquil Buzz. Well, I didn't sit. I got a cup to go. And then I realized that the session that I thought started at 2 o'clock actually started at 2:30. So I already had a nearby parking spot, and I decided just to hang out for a little while. And at 2:30, I went to my first session right there in that building. That is the Silver City Museum Annex. The museum being right there. And the topic of the presentation was historical fact and historical fiction in the West. I can't say I was super enchanted with the way that those subjects were addressed. But my lack of enchantment wasn't an irritated kind of thing. I was really, having had that second burrito, really tired, and I struggled not to fall asleep. I'm sort of thinking that my purpose in coming here, this part of my purpose in coming here today, it feels kind of done. I think I'm sort of done with school. I'm not saying that I'm beyond learning. I'm not saying that I have no use in my life for schooling and for conferences and for sessions. But I don't have a lot of time left to be a student. I'd rather spend that time being a practitioner. I do have things to teach myself that don't have much to do with the belletristic. I want to go learn about a van that you can compute from, a van that you can make coffee in. So I think I'm going to move it along. and go down to my chosen campsite a little early in the afternoon. Stop off at the co-op first. Gotta go to the co-op. Just like going to Tranquil Bez and one of those fine burrito places. And then I'll hit the road towards City of Rocks and try and make myself a camp. Thank you, Festival. Thank you, Silver. You always teach me something.